Hey, this is an in-depth tutorial of how I made the beat where I took the drums from Waterfalls by TLC. So I went to YouTube and I looked up the song Waterfalls. Now I picked this song because the drums, just for a couple seconds, play alone in the beginning. This part's important because you want to be able to take an element from the song that you're picking. That way we can use it as inspiration later on. It's hard to find stems to famous songs, so this is why it's important to find something that you can actually chop out and use as one element in your beat or song that you're making. I went up here, selected it, Control C, copied the link into a YT MP3. Now there's like hundreds of variants of these things. Just be careful with them. They're loaded with viruses. When you click download, it will take you to another page. Just close out of that page immediately. You might have to hit download like 3 or 4 times to download it. But once you do, you'll have your file down here. You can drag it and drop it into whatever DAW you're using. Multiple ways you can do this. You can look it up, literally look up the name of the song and then type in BPM and key. There will be websites that come up and tell you. The way I like to do it and the way I did it for this one is I went ahead and I played it. I right clicked up here on the BPM, hit tap, and what this allows you to do is click out the BPM. So I just let the song play. And felt it out. It ended up being 86 BPM. I chopped off this initial little bit of silence and I just chopped out these first little couple seconds of drums before this synth comes in. That it's hard to do with one hand, but you can go up here to the slice tool and just cut out the part. Go back to the pencil tool, right click, and you have a little section that you can work with. So that's how I got the initial drum loop. I went ahead and put it on a mixer track and I added a little alter boy, which essentially I just used to pitch it down a little bit. I added this plugin called Cymatics Origin. I used this preset Gritty MPC drums to add a grit before, after, and something a little more technical, I use Maximus, which comes with FL Studio, to basically make the low end mono. Now if you already produce, you'll know what I'm talking about, but if you don't, it essentially just makes the low end, aka the kick, the bass of it, mono in the mix, which means it's just going to be cleaner. And the next thing I did, which is where I feel like a lot of us are going to be getting stuck at, is adding the next element. I chose to add some keys because I already had drums, so what else is in a song that has drums? Some sort of melodic instrument. So I picked keys, nothing crazy right there, and I basically just played random notes. Literally the way I do this is the same way that when we were kids and we pretended to like play an air guitar. I just pretend I know how to play the piano. So I just like make my fingers go like, oh yeah, I see pianists do this cool thing where they do this and I look all professional, and I stay only on the white keys so I don't have to worry about all these like little technicals, and it's literally the best way I know how to explain it. So I just let the drums play and played around. And now the only way that this will work is either if you're recording the entire time or if you're using FL Studio. I don't know if you can do this in anything else, but after playing for a few minutes, you can go up here to Tools, dump score log to selected pattern, and you can select last 2 minutes all the way up to the last 30 minutes of playing. Now you might be saying, well, I don't have one of these keyboards. Now in FL Studio, it allows you to click this thing right here, and so you can still play around as long as you have a keyboard. So after I had a few minutes of playing and I had a couple moments where I literally just got lucky, like I surprised myself. You know, I'm just playing around. I'm like, whoa, that sounded cool. Like, I don't know how I did it. I can't repeat it because I'm messing around. I had a couple of those moments, dumped the score log to pattern. And to make this entire chord progression, all I did was take 2 moments. And it was this one and this one. It took a little bit of editing, dragging around to get it on time. I changed a couple notes just to make it sound how I wanted to, but you can do that. Anybody can do that. Anybody can just click and drag and delete stuff. And then to fill it out, I just added a couple layers. So we had our initial. I added this layer. Just found a sound that looks cool. Went on this, Control C, click this, Control V. Added another layer, which is just playing the chords for some body. And this part's just playing around and finding sounds that sound cool. There's no right or wrong way to do it. And to fill it out and basically just get the essential foundation for our beat, I got a little vintage synth bass type of pluck thing. Boom, boom, boom. And to do this, I just followed the root notes of the chords that I'm playing. So that would be the bottom note, which it's not this one. It can get confusing if you got weird chords and you're just playing random notes, but I honestly think just do it how it sounds good. Like, it's a learning process. I used to put the wrong bass notes all the time. I wouldn't go on the root notes and it would sound bad, but in the moment, I'm like, this is so dope. And now I go back and listen to those tracks and I'm like, what the hell was I doing? But having fun is the most important thing to actually learning and growing. So once we add all that on top of the drums, we pretty much got a whole beat. And me personally, I like to add like little vocal textures and weird effects. So I did this thing. Literally. Recorded it in there. And to make it sound not so, I put an EQ to cut out the low end. Before, after. It doesn't sound too noticeable over the phone, but then I added an auto tune just to kind of clean it up a little bit. I use Metatune. It has this really cool feature where you could double it and sort of widen the vocal out. And then I added this sort of guitar amp plugin, and I didn't use like one of those crazy distorted things. It was just a very clean preset. And the main thing is this big Valhalla vintage reverb. And that's what we got. And then all together. That's not supposed to be there, but you get the point, and that's the foundation for the beat that we made. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions about how I do anything at all, just comment them below, and I'd love to interact with y'all and help y'all and make videos answering the questions. My TikTok and Instagram, which you probably came from already, is in the description. You can listen to all my music down in the description, and the full beat of this will also be linked in the description to my beat channel, where I have, I don't know, 40 something beats, just a catalog of beats that you could go listen through. And if you feel inspired, you could add something to them, but you gotta pay for it, you know. I gotta make a little dough. We all do this, all creatives, we're trying to make a living. So anyways, yeah, I hope you got some value, I hope you learned, and I hope you can go take something from your favorite song, take some inspiration, and make a beat of your own. So thank you, adios, hasta luego.